It's 4:12 p.m., you hear your loved one with dementia pacing in the hall, then boom, a door slams. By 5 p.m., they're accusing you of hiding their things. You brace your self-care partner because you know what kind of night it's going to be. But here's the thing, your loved one with dementia is not trying to be difficult. Sundowning is an actual brain event. And if you can understand why it happens, then you can change how you respond, and then you can even get ahead of it altogether. That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Dr. Sinclair. I'm a neuropsychologist, dementia care specialist, and founder of the Confident Caregiver Academy. Let's jump on in. What is sundowning? First and foremost, care partners, as I've already mentioned, sundowning is not your loved one trying to be in a bad mood. It's actually a brain state. In dementia, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, fancy word for our brain and body's internal clock, it starts to lose cells over time. Our clock, our internal clock, is responsible for having us be alert and revved up when we need to be in the morning, and it's also responsible for us winding down in the evening. When it's damaged, as what happens with dementia, then your loved one gets revved up and alert in the evening hours instead of winding down. It's almost like their brain is a GPS system, a navigation system that loses signal every night at around the same time. When it loses the signal, your loved one with dementia is confused. They don't know where they are. They don't know what to do. Sometimes they don't even know who you are. One of my clients told me every evening at 6 p.m., Dr. Sinclair, like clockwork, my mom would start packing up her things and putting on her coat and saying it's time for her to go home, even though she was in her own living room. Care partners, that loss of signal, that loss of their suprachiasmatic nucleus leads your loved one to being confused, revved up, restless, needing to wander sometimes. The three most overlooked triggers that caregivers miss with sundowning. I would say, care partners, that these triggers account for about 80% of sundowning episodes, and it's not necessarily what you think. The first trigger, care partner, is light and shadow changes. A brain with dementia often misinterprets shadows as threats. What do I mean by that? One care partner that I worked with, her dad would get agitated in the evening and insist that there were intruders in the house. What he was referring to as intruders in the house was his actual reflection in the sliding door. He couldn't recognize that that was his reflection, and instead his reflection were intruders who were there to harm them. Another example, care partner, is overhead light can cast a glare onto the floor. That glare to us is a glare, but to a dementia-affected brain, it could suddenly look like water in the kitchen. And now your loved one with dementia is refusing to step into the kitchen because it looks like water, it looks like there's flooding. So here are two examples in which shadows, like a reflection or a glare, can be misinterpreted by a dementia-affected brain, particularly when the brain is exhausted at the end of the day. And this segues well into our second trigger for sundowning, which is sensory overload from the day. Every interaction, every noise, every small stress throughout the day builds with sundowning. And by the evening, your loved one with dementia's brain is so exhausted that there's no filter left. What does that look like, care partners? If your loved one with dementia had a busy day, they had lots of doctor's appointments, they had visitors, they were just go, 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 by the evening hours, their brain could be so overwhelmed, so overloaded from all of that sensory experience that it can thrust them into a sundowning episode. Another example could be that they have had a busy day, and then at 4 p.m. you start the dishwasher, and boom, that can thrust them into a sundowning episode. And then you'll ask, well, why does a dishwasher do it? Because it's one other thing that their brain has to listen to, has to filter out, and there's already been so much sensory overload throughout the day. So if your loved one with dementia has had a busy daycare partner, it's best for them to come home and for you to engage in some kind of wind down routine for them. Noise canceling headphones with gentle music on, etc. I'll get to more tips in a moment, but that's what I mean by sensory overload. Speaking of late in the day, our third trigger is physical discomfort that surfaces later in the day. Pain, hunger, dehydration, the need to use the bathroom, all of those experiences feel more intense to a dementia-affected brain that's been working really hard all day. One of my caregivers' husbands would get so agitated in the evening. Turns out that he was chronically dehydrated. He was skipping his water during the day because he didn't want to have accidents. Another care partner shared that her mom would get so irritable in the evening. Her mom has arthritis, and as the evening progressed, that arthritic pain would build up in her joints and made it painful for her. She was not able to communicate what was happening, and so that came out as irritability. So it's important, care partners, to examine, are there potential physical discomforts that's happening for my loved one with dementia throughout the day that's thrusting them into this sundowning episode in the evening. So our first pause and reflection moment, think about your loved one's patterns, care partner. What time of day does their confusion peak? That's your first clue. Our second pause, think about last night. Which of these three might have been playing a role? Could the light and shadow have thrusted your loved one into confusion? Could there have been sensory overload from the day? What about physical discomfort that surfaced late in the day? Care partner, you now know what sundowning is, you now know what the common triggers of sundowning are, and so let's move on to how you can use this science tonight. You do not have to wait weeks to implement these strategies, you can start using them tonight. So first step is control the light early. Turn on warm lamps before sunset. Close blinds to remove reflections. One care partner I coach set her smart lights to gradually warm up from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Her dad's pacing dropped dramatically. Step 2, preempt the overload. Schedule calm, repetitive tasks like folding towels, organizing buttons, counting coins for the afternoon. These repetitive tasks are calming for a dementia-affected brain, particularly one that gets restless. Avoid new or high energy activities after 3 p.m. One of the care partners that I worked with moved her dad's shower schedule from 9 p.m. to earlier in the day. It was just far too stimulating for him to have that activity late in the day, particularly if you've already had a busy day. So keep in mind, care partners, all of the activities that your loved one has been doing throughout the day. Let's not stimulate them even more after 3 p.m. Step 3, check comfort needs before they peak. Does your loved one with dementia need a small snack or hydration at 3 to 4 p.m.? Do they need a gentle bathroom reminder? I often encourage my care partners to give some warm tea, hot tea, to their loved ones with dementia in the evening around 4:30 p.m. It has the added benefit of signaling the body that it's time to relax and wind down, and then also you're giving your loved one some hydration, some additional liquids and fluids that they probably didn't get enough of throughout the day. Step 4, you set the tone. Care partner, your nervous system and your body language is going to communicate so much more than you think it is. It communicates so much more than your words ever will. So the more you can enter into the evening hours with a calmer tone, whatever you have to do to calm your body down, care partner, take a moment to do that so that you can enter the evening hours as calm as possible. If you walk intense, your loved one with dementia, their mirror neurons are going to mirror that and give it right back to you. So try as much as possible to do whatever you need to do to enter into those evening hours with calm. This one mental change, this mental shift is going to help you to not take sundowning personally. Historically, before today's video, you probably would have said, "Oh, they are just annoying me," or "Oh, I have to brace for battle." Now you realize that sundowning is an actual brain event. It is indicating that your loved one's brain, parts of their brain, is damaged. And I hope that that mindset shift can help you to take things less personally, even though it feels so personal. And if it was helpful for you today, care partners, then please go ahead and share this with other caregivers who are struggling with sundowning with their loved ones. And also, if you have other dementia-related behavior challenges, consider joining us in the Confident Caregiver Academy. I'll go ahead and link all of the information below. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.